Welcome, my friends, to the first episode of our spine-chilling new series, The Whispering Woods. I'm your narrator, and I'll be guiding you through this dark and twisted tale. So lower the lights, get comfortable, and prepare to enter a world where legends are real and shadows have a life of their own. Our story begins in the lonely attic of a centuries-old house, perched on the edge of an ancient, foreboding forest. Here, we meet Elara, a young scholar more at home with dusty tomes than with people. For Elara, the world outside her window held little interest. Her true passion, her entire universe, was bound in the leather and ink of forgotten lore. She spent her nights deciphering cryptic texts and tracing faded maps, seeking the truths hidden within the whispers of history. Tonight, a single beam of moonlight pierces the gloom of her study, illuminating the cloud of dust motes dancing around her. Outside, the gnarled branches of the old forest claw at the window pane, their skeletal fingers tapping a restless rhythm against the glass. Elara, her glasses perched on her nose, is completely absorbed, poring over an unusually ancient leather-bound book. The air is still, heavy with the scent of old paper and the quiet solitude she cherishes. But this night would be different. Tonight, her scholarly pursuit would not lead her to enlightenment, but to the very edge of a waking nightmare. As she turns a brittle page, her finger traces a faded illustration. It's a grotesque image, a monstrous face with glowing red eyes, emerging from an abyss of darkness. As her finger passes over the image, a faint, almost imperceptible whisper seems to rise from the book itself. A sudden shiver runs down her spine. She pauses, listening. Was it just the old house settling, the wind moaning through the eaves? She dismisses it, the familiar creaks and groans of her home, a constant companion in her lonely vigils. She leans closer to the text, her lips moving as she reads the strange passage aloud, her voice a soft murmur in the quiet attic. The veil between worlds thins. When the moon hangs heavy and the lost seeks solace, ... The words feel heavy on her tongue, ancient and powerful. A sharp, decisive rap on her attic window shatters the silence. Elara jumps, her heart pounding in her chest. She rushes to the window, peering out into the night. But there's nothing. Only the swirling mist that clings to the base of the trees and the dark, tangled shapes of the woods beyond. A profound chill, one that has nothing to do with the night air, seeps into her bones. The whispers, which she had dismissed moments ago, are back. This time, they are louder, more insistent, curling around her like tendrils of smoke, their meaning just beyond her grasp. The whispering woods, the forest that had been the silent, unchanging backdrop to her entire life, now seemed to stir with an ancient, malevolent will. It was no longer just a collection of trees. It felt alive, aware, and watching. The legends she so meticulously transcribed, the tales of shadow creatures and thinning veils, were no longer confined to the ink and paper before her. They were bleeding into her reality. A strange mix of terror and an almost academic fascination grips Elara. Her scholar's mind races, trying to rationalize what is happening, while primal fear warns her that logic has no place here. Her wide eyes dart back to the book on her desk. Is she imagining it, or are its pages now glowing with a faint otherworldly light? She glances back towards the window, towards the tree line. For just a fleeting second, she sees it. A dark, hooded figure standing motionless among the ancient oaks, a silhouette against the mist. And then, as quickly as it appeared, it vanishes. No, Elara whispers, her voice trembling. It can't be real. Just a story. She backs away from the window, her hand pressed to her mouth. But the evidence of her senses is undeniable. The air in the attic has grown cold and thick, charged with an unseen presence. And in the corners of her vision, in the deepest shadows of the room, she sees a shimmering flash of red, like the phantom glow of the monster's eyes from the illustration. With a surge of panic, Elara slams the ancient book shut. The thud echoes in the oppressive silence. But closing the book does nothing to silence the voices. The whispers are no longer coming from the pages, but from inside her own mind, echoing in the chambers of her skull, insistent and terrifying. The episode closes with Elara frozen in place, her back to the book, her gaze fixed on the impenetrable darkness of the woods outside her window. The quiet comfort of her solitude has been shattered, replaced by a dawning, all-consuming terror. The woods are whispering her name. And that, my friends, is where we leave Elara for now, on the threshold of a terrible discovery. What secrets do the whispering woods hold? Who was the shadowed figure among the trees? Join us next time as we venture deeper into the darkness. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this journey into the shadows, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so don't miss a single terrifying moment of the Whispering Woods. Until next time, be careful what you read in the dark.